Hey, good morning, Cougars. Today is September the 22nd. It's Tuesday, September 22nd. I hope you're well. I'm teaching again from the basement. I know a handful of you are there at school, and most of us are working from home and hope we can be back together again soon. Yesterday was a test prep day, and again, it's kind of the same thing this morning. I've left some ideas for you, and I want to just talk briefly about some things that'll help you in preparation for the test. First of all, I would say, guys, let's pray about it. I don't know that there's any reason to be stressed or nervous. We're going to do the best we can given the circumstances we're under, and we'll let the results speak for themselves. But I did put up a quick agenda here. We're prepping for our Unit 1 test. There's some vocabulary terms that I want to make sure you're familiar with. I'll give you a handful of hints for the test. And then a suggestion here, if you're looking for more to do, you're still a bit nervous about what you know and how prepared you are, then I'm going to point you to the book. In the blue textbook online, I would go to pages 25, 26. Remember, our test is over sections 1.1, 1.3, and 2.1. All right, 1.1, 1.3, and 2.1. And in the textbook, there's some things you can do to prep for that test. At the back of chapter 1, there are 2 sections there. Ignore the 1.2 stuff, but if you look at vocabulary, there's some vocabulary, some matching that might be a good way to review that vocabulary. Problems 1 through 5 and 9 through 10. 6 through 8 is the section 1.2 that we're not studying right now. And then the concepts on page 26, numbers 1 through 4 and 15 through 21. Leave out that middle section because, again, that has to do with the measurement unit that we'll get into next. And then last but not least, section 2.1, there are 6 questions at the end of that section in the textbook. Again, this is all optional. It's not something you have to do, but if you're feeling a little bit nervous about what you know and what you're able to do for that test, go back and look at those things. A couple other things I might suggest. There's a in the book, if you're looking for things, I know there's a problem in the book. We've used the ping pong ball and bowling ball, how force interacts with mass. There's an example in the book of the trash truck in the car. You might look at that example. There's a car picture and identifies different states of matter. That we talked about that in class when we went through the slides. Different states of matter in a car, solids, liquids, gas, that are all part of a car. And then a reminder that physical science applies to all living things, or all things, not just mechanical things. So on the top of one of the very first line in one of the textbooks pages, it talks about physical science, top of page 6. Physical science applies to everything, not just machinery of that type, but all things, including living things. I know that one's on your exam, guys. In that third section, energy comes from, this is section 1.3, energy changes form. So be familiar with how that energy changes from one form to another. There's a diagram there on the beginning of section 1.3. Make sure you're familiar with that and you can identify those different forms of energy. Almost all energy, I'm going to say all, but almost all, there's a very, very minute part that doesn't. All energy starts with the sun. All of our energy originates with the sun. And there's a page in your text that illustrates that. There's an example in there too, and I point this out only because when it gets into the atoms and molecules, talk about elements, that a sheet of aluminum foil, so roughly the thickness of that card, guys, a sheet of aluminum foil, you'd wrap a baked potato in or something like this, you maybe put it over top of a casserole. That aluminum foil is 200,000 atoms thick. So that's how small an atom is. There's about 200,000 of them across in the depth, if you will, of a sheet of aluminum foil. Okay? And then the states of matter. Make sure you're familiar with that. We don't go into the plasma on your test, but make sure that you're solid, liquid, gas, you're comfortable with that information that we talked about that. And then the last thing I did is I put up on here the vocabulary terms. We did Quizlet cards with each of these 8, but if you would like, I think there's 5 in section 1.1 and just the 2 terms in 1.3. force, matter, mass, technology, engineering, molecule, elements. You might add those to your Quizlet file if you wish. You're going to do great, guys. Spend a little bit of time, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour today, working on that. I appreciate your attentiveness, attention on this, and we'll do our best tomorrow with that exam. If you have any questions, shoot me a quick email. When you do these, I will be able to help you with answers if you get stuck on that while you're studying. All right, I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.